Hey, what's up my friends? My name's Jason Morris with another video on the Phantom 3 Standard. Some of the information I'll also apply to some other drones and also some other non-DJI drones. So stick around as long as you can and hopefully I can share some information to you that'll help you set up quicker and capture better quality footage next time you take off. Now, if you want to know which DJI drone suits you best, please watch my other video that's linked in the description below, which can help you make your decision. On another note, as you may have heard, DJI have released their newest addition to the family, which technically isn't a DJI product, but the company Ryze Robotics has used some of DJI's internals in their new drone, which is called the Tello. This drone is the smallest DJI drone. It is absolutely dirt cheap as well. So here in Australia, you can pick one up for about 169 bucks, which is around 99 US dollars. It's got a decent gimbal, which provides okay footage at 720p, which is kind of usable, but definitely not optimal for making any kind of cinematic footage. Now, if you're after an extremely small and cheap travel drone or just want to learn on something, then this drone may be for you. Anyway, back to the Phantom 3 Standard. Firstly, I'm making this video because I want to show you through some of the basic setups of the Phantom 3 Standard. Now, you can use this if you've just bought the Phantom 3 Standard and you just don't know how to set it up. This will be a great video for you. So before you set up your drone, take it out of the box and charge everything. Charge the battery, charge the remote, also charge your phone because you will be using your phone or a tablet, iPod, whichever one you're gonna have the app on. The Phantom 3 Standard will give you about 25 minutes flight time and the remote can last up to something around 3 hours. So if you have multiple batteries, you'll be safe to charge the remote once before you fly. Okay, so before you leave the house, you'll need to connect to Wi-Fi and download the DJI Go app. Now take note, the DJI Go app has split into two, I think. There's one that's Phantom 4 and up, and then there's one that's Phantom 3 and under. They have their own separate app. Sometimes the one in the Phantom 3 and under actually has other drones in there as well. So just be aware of which app you're going to be downloading before you leave the house because you need to be connected to Wi-Fi to download these. Okay, so it is recommended that you become familiar with some of the basic settings. Now in this video, I won't dive into it completely as it can take quite a long time to go through each individual setting and what they mean. But I'll explain some of the basics to you at least so you can get you up in the air safely. As you may know, this drone has a 3-axis gimbal, which makes the incredible footage steady when flying in relatively harsh conditions, or if you're just flying fast side to side or forward. The drone comes with a gimbal protector, which I generally keep it on during transportation just for extra safety. Now to remove this protector, all you need to do is turn the drone this way, and from this direction, you just need to slide it out towards you. Just be aware that you don't try and pull on the gimbal too much, so just be careful there. You'll also notice the lens has a rubber protector on it, which I also leave during transport, so my lens won't get scratched. Some of the other pieces of equipment you might want to consider, and this is for beginners and advanced, and I'd definitely say for advanced mainly, is ND filters or neutral density filters. They're pretty much sunglasses for your drone. This will allow you to keep the shutter speed double the frame rate and get smoother looking cinematic footage. Otherwise, to compensate for the extra light, the drone's shutter speed has to be increased, and just keep note that the general rule is to keep the shutter speed double the frame rate. So when you do increase that shutter speed, it can make the footage look a little bit warped. Now we'll move on to the propellers. As you can see here, on the front right side, it is a gray colored top, which obviously fits the gray painted propeller. Similarly, on the back left, it's the same. On the opposites, you'll have a black painted dot displayed, and that notifies you that the black propellers will fit on these. So just take note of the direction where you need to spin them to lock them into place when attaching those propellers. Now that your drone is set up, you'll take notice that the front will have stickers. This helps distinguish the difference between the front and the back. The front also has different colored LED lights underneath the arms, which helps you when you're flying up in the air and you know which way is the front. As a general rule, with most countries, you're supposed to keep the drone in eyesight anyway. You'll have to double check with your country's laws when it comes to flying your drone. And it is very important you do not fly in the no flying zones, as you may be stung with a hefty fine. So just research those no fly zones and where you can legally fly and safely fly. The DJI Go app will actually mark on the app where the no-fly zones are. This makes it much easier to know where to fly. If it's your first flight, then I recommend take it to a large park where you can practice the basic controls anyway. So just be aware, in most countries, you must be approximately 30 meters away from people, so pick somewhere quiet. Just to touch base quickly on the remote here, there are a few little bits and pieces you'll need to know about the buttons. Now, as you can see here, this is the on and off button. Pretty straightforward. The battery indicator with these 4 bars shows how much charge you have. So the remote, like I said before, can last around 3 hours of usage. But it's always safe to recharge the battery every flight anyway. So on the top left-hand corner, which you would use your left index finger, you'll have the gimbal dial. So this controls the angle of the gimbal up and down, so the tilting. In the DJI Go app, you can actually adjust the speed of the controls so it's not so fast and jerky when you want something smooth. On the top right, you have a toggle which has 3 functions. P, which is positioning mode, A, which is attitude mode, and F, which is function mode. Positioning mode offers satellite vision positioning sensors precise positioning. Attitude mode disables the satellite vision positioning and only use the barometer for that altitude control. Lastly, function mode is quite similar to positioning mode. It allows access to intelligent flight modes. Now, I'll go through those intelligent flight modes a little bit further on, and also I will be making a separate video on exactly what those intelligent flight modes do. Now, in the middle here on the remote, you can attach a lanyard if you please. It's all up here to your personal preference. With the antenna, DJI recommend placing the transmitter stick at a 45-degree angle from the remote, which is apparently the optimal position. And as you can see here, it is really easy to replace that transmitter stick at a 45-degree angle, you can see here. Once you're set up and ready to fly, turn on the remote here. And turn on your drone by pressing the button once and then pressing it again, but holding for 2 to 3 seconds. So open your phone and turn on the Wi-Fi connection. What you want to do is connect to the drone. Once you have done that, enter the password 12341234. That should connect your phone to your drone. Now, one of the first things you'll need to do is set your calibration of the compass. Carefully follow the instructions to calibrate, so hold the drone in front of you, parallel to the ground, and rotate at least 360 degrees. I always go just that little bit further. Then, hold the drone vertically like so. Rotate again at least 360 degrees. Like I said, just rotate a little bit further. The app also gives you information such as IMU, radio channel quality, flight mode, remote controller mode, and it also provides information on battery amount of the drone and the remote. It provides information for the aircraft temperature, the SD card capacity that you've got inside your drone, and the status of the gimbal. Once these settings are complete, now you can safely fly your drone. But I would recommend before you fly your drone, click into the control flight settings on the DJI Go app. This will allow you to adjust multiple customized settings to your liking. So what you do is you tap on the 3 lines at the top right hand corner. You can change your units to what you prefer, so imperial or metric. We use metric here in Australia, so I'll place it, or leave it on metric, which is meters. And you can also change the setting where it records your flight route, which I generally leave on. Now, click on the drone looking symbol here in the top middle left. You can adjust the return to home altitude. Now, just note, this is very important to adjust, as if your drone loses signal, it will automatically return home to the selected altitude. You don't want it to return home where the altitude is too low, because it can crash into trees or structures on the way back. Set this to whatever you desire, but I definitely recommend have a look at your surroundings and set it high enough where it's not going to fly into something. You can switch on the beginner mode if you please. The biggest thing about this beginner mode is that it only allows you to fly in a 30 diameter circle around that home point, and it significantly slows the speed down. So if you want to be extra safe and this is your first flight, you can click on that setting just to start with. You can set your maximum altitude to whatever you like also. So check the country's laws and regulations. They may only limit your height to around 120 to 150 meters of altitude anyway. You can also adjust the maximum flight distance, which comes down to personal preference. So click on the advanced settings. If you want to get into the finer details, this is where you can adjust the sensitivity of the controls and the speed of the drone's response to the remote. If you have only just purchased your drone, then I recommend you don't need to adjust this setting at this point. Within the settings bar, you can also adjust the remote controller calibration. So just follow the instructions, as they're pretty straightforward and explained right in the app for you. You can even adjust the stick directions. Whichever settings you prefer, generally you'll just keep it standard as is. Other than those settings I've shown you, your drone is pretty much ready to take off. It is very simple to fly, and practice definitely helps increase your flight skills. So make sure before you start flying, just pick a safe, wide area, as it can take quite a while to get used to. Just remember the Phantom 3 standard does not have obstacle avoidance like some of the other drones do. So if you fly into an object, it will crash. So just be aware of where you're flying. Once you're in a safe area, you can click auto takeoff, like so. It will take off automatically to an altitude of 1.2 meters and hover. From this point, you can take control of your drone and view the footage through your mobile device that's connected. Be sure to practice without looking at the mobile device and looking at the drone, and then also practice looking at the mobile device as well, just so you have a little bit of, practice with both sides. When the drone is facing towards you, obviously the commands are going to be back to front. So left is right, right is left. Once you've completed your flight test, you can land the drone by automatically landing with the button. You can also switch it off at any time, so you can land it by yourself. But the drone doesn't land exactly in the same position each time. Just be sure to watch where it lands. If you decide to risk it for the biscuit and land it yourself, just take your time and don't come in too hot. Slow and steady, and it will land safely. You can also brave it by catching your drone. But note, I'm not responsible for you catching a drone and cutting off your fingers or hitting your fingers or whatever, so I do recommend you use the auto landing software. Moving on to the camera/video mode. You can adjust the camera settings to auto or manually adjust the shutter speed and ISO settings. Just remember that the general rule for the shutter speed is the shutter speed must be twice the frame rate. If you're shooting at the top setting of 2.7K at 24 frames per second, then your shutter speed must be set around 1/50th of a second. If you're shooting at 30 frames per second, then your shutter speed must be 1/60th of a second. If the image is still too bright and you don't have ND filters, the only thing you can do is adjust the shutter speed. Just note that, like I said before, it just won't give you that smooth cinematic look and can make the image look a little warped and strange. It's not too big of a difference, but trust me, you'll be able to see it. So just invest in ND filters if you can. Once you have chosen the settings, you can also choose what kind of image you want to shoot in. So there are standard settings like D-Log or D-Cinelike, none, art, black and white, and so on. You can use whatever settings you prefer. Generally for a cinematic look, and if you're going to color grade the footage in post, then I recommend you choose D-Log. This will flatten the image, make the colors look quite lifeless and bland, but it captures all the necessary details and dynamic ranges, so in post, you can actually color grade it much better and it will look much more cinematic. This is where you can throw your customized LUTs on it or create your own LUTs. Once all those settings have been selected, you can now fly your drone. You can also utilize some cool program flight features, which I mentioned before, and I'll give you a full review and step-to-step guide on how to use them. So the features that consist of the follow me function, which is really cool, point of interest, waypoint, and the IOC function. Lastly, when it comes to flying your drone and wanting awesome cinematic footage, it's best to plan out your shots before you take off. You generally should have an idea of what footage you want to capture. This will ensure you will have optimized your flight time. If you've only got one battery, then you only have a maximum of 25 minutes of flight time. This isn't long, so just plan and be prepared for what you need. So there you have it, guys. That is the video on the Phantom 3 Standard on how to set it up. If you've got something from this video, please like the video if you could, subscribe if you already haven't, comment below if you have the Phantom 3 Standard or another DJI drone, and watch out for my next videos. My name's Jason Morris. I'll see you next time. Peace.